What up, y'all? Humble Among here with what I hope to be my pilot video for a series of ICP lore videos. This one is titled, What is a Juggalo? Where I'm going to simply explain to you what a Juggalo is, also what I believe a Juggalo is. We're going to get into that a little bit later into the video, so please stay tuned. But first, let's start with some Juggalo history, if you will. The simplest way to explain to you what a Juggalo is a fan of the Insane Clown Posse, a super fan, someone who's very fanatical about it in so much that they take it as a lifestyle. It's a big community that take it very seriously. Juggalos are often from lower middle class backgrounds or straight up lower class backgrounds. They're often scrubs, if you will, or floobs. And behind the paint, there's a whole section where Violent J talks about them being kids and calling themselves floobs, kind of born out of the Goonies, kind of just being losers, but being proud of being losers, being proud of being poor. They tried to make being lower class fresh, if you will. They tried to make it cool to be poor and scrubs. And there's definitely a current of that goes into this culture still to this day. The floobs are still alive and well in the Juggalo culture, if you will. Some Juggalos even go so far as to label certain fans just ICP fans and not real Juggalos. Also, there's the term Juff or Juffalo, or Juggaho even, for people who are fronting to be Juggalos and maybe have no real connection to the culture at all. There's also the terminology Juggalette, which is referring to female Juggalos. Nowadays, a lot of people prefer to just call everybody Juggalo. Everybody's a Juggalo. The term Juggalette, I feel like it's unnecessary. Anyway, everybody's a Juggalo. So the origins of the word Juggalo actually come from the word Juggala, which is a ICP song from the album Carnival of Carnage. ICP back in the day used to do a lot of flipping of words, adding juggala, juggalo. There's a part in another song where he says jokero. He would almost add gibberish words, nonsense words to sort of make sort of force words to rhyme with other words, I think was the idea behind doing that. Kind of an old school rap type of thing to do, but the ICP used to do it all the time. That's where the term Juggalo comes from, is him flipping the word juggala several different times over the years in different songs. And there's actually a song on The Great Malenko called What is a Juggalo that attempts to explain in song form what is a Juggalo, but it's rather it's rather ridiculous. It's used for comedic effect. But the fascinating thing about the song What is a Juggalo is you can actually hear in the beginning of the song several samples of ICP sort of evolving the word juggala into the word juggalo in these series of samples. Actually pretty fascinating clip just to listen to that beginning of the song. Highly recommend listening to the whole song, by the way. Doesn't fully explain what is a juggalo, but that's kind of the point, just to be sort of ridiculous and over the top. Speaking of being ridiculous and over the top, we're going to transition now into more of what I feel a Juggalo is, because I feel that Juggalos are rather magical creatures. I've referred to Juggalos as magical beings more than once on my videos or in my live streams. I've alluded to this theory several times in my videos. I think I've even come out and said it several times in my videos, but we're going to get a little bit deeper into it today, finally. I believe Juggalos are actually Heyokas. Now, if you're not familiar with the term Heyoka, a Heyoka is a sacred clown, if you will, in Native American culture. I actually became familiar with the term Heyoka from this meme, which is from an Instagram account called The Ancient Light. Now, I'm going to read you this meme now because I feel like this is one of the best ways to describe the definition of a Heyoka. This is how I was also introduced to the term, so I want to introduce you to the term this way as well. The sacred clown is known by many names and also more widely known as the jester, the joker, and the satirist. The Native American culture calls them Heyokas, which translates to sacred clowns. Sacred clowns mock themselves and others freely by spewing unabashed truth, embracing the inner child within, and not conforming to the masses' way of life. Sacred clowns are a human archetype necessary for human evolution and serve a sacred purpose to the masses. They act as a mirror, showcasing an immense sense of inner freedom by disregarding expectations set by society. By these acts, people are so immensely triggered and offended by the Heyokas' freedom that they will slowly start to realize how constricted they themselves are by the rules of conformity set by society. The masses slowly start to evolve with each triggering remark, as the sacred clown will provoke deeper, freer dialogue and debate amongst a shallow, constricted society. That is probably the best definition I have ever read of what a juggalo is. And I read this a few years ago, like I said, and ever since then, I can't get over the thought that Heyokas are actually juggalos. As you can see from some of the pictures I was showing during that definition, they paint themselves in black and white war paint, also a thread of contradictory nature to them. They like to go the other way of the norm, if you will. And that last picture I showed, you can see they actually would sometimes ride their horses backwards. That's how far they would take their contradictory gimmick. Pardon me if this is an offensive notion to any Native American cultures out there. I do not mean to be offensive by this. This is solely my interpretation. My apologies if this is wildly offensive and I have no idea, but I can't help but see a connection between juggalos and Heyokas. The more digging I did on Heyokas, the more research I do, the more convinced I am, or really that juggalos are a modern incarnation of Heyokas. The going against the way things are supposed to be part, being a mirror showcasing society thing. That's the wicked shit. That's the way I describe the wicked shit, is being a mirror to hold up to society. I believe, obviously, juggalos are a big part of the wicked shit, and they do that themselves. The juggalos are a mirror of society. The fact that people get so triggered by the existence of juggalos, I think really gets down to why juggalos get so much hate. This is something I have alluded to many times. The comments I see on some of my videos from the quote-unquote haters of juggalos, to me, there's always an element of curiosity, or else they wouldn't be looking at these videos. They're definitely curious about this lifestyle and the freedom that this lifestyle provides. I'm always describing juggalos and the gathering of the juggalos as being some of the freest and maybe the gathering is maybe the freest place left in this country, other than maybe Burning Man and festivals like that. The gathering is a very free place. And I do feel that people are offended by this freedom. They are deeply offended by it. I can see it in the comments. There is an underlying current of jealousy, almost, of this lifestyle, when in reality, you can live your life any way that you want. And that's what's beautiful about juggalos and why I don't understand the hate. I definitely feel like there is something to this. Some of the other videos I've been watching, there's plenty of videos on YouTube, by the way, that go into this Heyoka subject much deeper than I am here. This is a rather deep rabbit hole you can go down. Other videos describe them as also being empaths, which I feel that I am definitely an empath. I've had some conversations about this, the empath nature of juggalos. I don't think all juggalos are empaths, mind you, but I do think a decent amount of us are. Interrupting sacred rituals or heckling sacred rituals. Boy, does that sound like being at the gathering of the juggalos and juggalos heckling the acts almost constantly. I don't know, the more I go into this, the more I do think that juggalos are Heyokas. Let me know if I missed anything as far as the history of ICP lore and the juggalos. I feel like there was an incident talked about in this book that goes a little bit deeper into the history of juggalos, and I think there was a live show incident, but I might be confusing that with the Fago incident. I don't know. That might have been some weird memory confusion on my part. Let me know though if I'm right and there is a story somewhere in here about the start of the term juggalos. And I'll do a second video where I talk about that a little bit more. Or if there's any more I could add to the Heyoka of it all. Let me know if there's anything I missed as far as Heyoka research, because I really only dug into the very surface of this, because like I said, this goes rather deep. There's a lot of videos about Heyokas. You can do a lot more research about this. This is just the surface applied to the juggalodium, if you will. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Give me recommendations of other ICP lore videos you would like to hear about, other stories you'd like to hear me break down. I think next I might do the history of Fago, like I talked about earlier. I did find that section in Behind the Paint So I think I might read to you the history of Faygo next. Let me know if that's something that would interest you, or if there's anything else ICP related that you would like to hear me break down. So yeah, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell gimmick next to the subscribe button so you get all notifications, especially when we go live, because I kind of don't announce a lot of these lives. I kind of just do that shit. Thank you to everybody who has hit that subscribe gimmick. Thank you very much. I'm trying to hit 3,000 before the end of the year, so if you haven't hit the subscribe gimmick now, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe gimmick. Anyway, that's been What is a Juggalo? I hope you've enjoyed this first ICP lore video. Let me know if you'd like to see more. Whoop whoop, have a good evening. I love you.